Hi everyone, I'm Jia En, and today I'll be analysing a full review about the Otto Place EC, including about the specs, the price, and also which one is the most preferred layout that you should also go for if you have a good queue during the Otto Place EC. So please watch to the end of the video. Also, I have a new Telegram group chat which you can follow over here. So this Telegram group chat is Jia En new launch updates. If you need anything about the new launches, including Otto Place EC, please follow this Telegram group chat because I'll be updating the latest information inside this Telegram group chat. And if you need information about the Otto Place EC only, just drop me a WhatsApp over here and write Otto Place EC and I'll drop you the latest brochure and information about the Otto Place EC. Okay, let's start. So this is actually the preview pictures about the Otto Place EC, and Otto Place EC actually look very beautiful from far. There's also a sky garden in the middle of those blocks between level 17 and 18. So Otto Place is something that I really feel excited because this will actually be the last EC they'll be launching in the west side of Singapore. Until then, you have to wait for around 2 years before the next EC come out. So here's the content that I'll go through with you today. So for the first part, I'll actually be going through with you the average prices of all the current ECs that were launched before this Otto Place EC. So it includes like the Novo Place, the Lumina Grand, Copen Grand, and also the Altura EC that are all in the west side. This is very important because they are ECs that are also very close and you need to know about the prices. How are your neighbors' profits like and what price did they actually buy into? Next, I'll actually be sharing with you the project information, which will include about what's available in this Otto Place EC, including like the facilities and also how many car park lots are there. Then I will share with you the more important, which is the site plan unit mix and also the layout and also the estimated prices for the Otto Place EC. This is the most important part because if you are looking at Otto Place EC, there's a lot of people eyeing to both 3-bedroom, 3+ study and 4+ study. So with so many comparables, you need to know which layout you want to focus on the ballot day itself, so you can actually skip to this part. Otherwise, if you want a summary of this whole entire video, skip to the last part where I'll summarize about the Otto Place EC summary and give you some free buyer tips so that you can actually be better prepared for this Otto Place EC. So as you know, for EC executive condominiums, there are a lot of eligibility criteria. You need to fill a lot of documents, including like your 15 months payslip and also like the CPF and all the NOA and other information. So you really need a trusted agent. If you're a trusted agent, you can follow your trusted agent. Otherwise, my number and my social media handles are actually on top left and right. Feel free to contact me and just drop me Otto Place EC and I'll actually explain more with you via message. So is Otto Place very expensive? I see all the EC prices are very expensive and the price is increasing from year to year. Here we have 2022 all the way until the recent 2025. The price have been increasing all the way and I think Otto Place EC is also very expensive. So should I really go to the Otto Place EC because of all the 4 other new launches before the Otto Place EC in the west side? So here I'll be comparing for you all the EC prices that are launched recently and also the average prices of all these ECs. So in simple terms, if you're asking why is the EC prices increasing, yes, the EC prices are increasing. We started with Copen Grand, then the Altura, Lumina Grand, Novo Place, Aura of Tampines EC, and now we're at Otto Place EC. In simple terms, only look at the average PSF of the EC to get the average prices of all the units that are sold. You can notice the price increasing all the way from 2022 until 2025. So in 3 years, it has actually increased from 1,339 PSF all the way to an average of 1,766 PSF. But why is EC prices increasing? You need to understand because of the low supply, high demand, and also the increase in land bid prices for all the different ECs. I believe you have heard that many agents tell you, oh, the land bid price has increased and is continuing to increase. There is a new high, but how does all this new high actually lead to the increase in prices for EC and also the Otto Place EC in this case? Because I will also be sharing with you the estimation of the Otto Place EC prices later. What it meant in short is that if you see this diagram over here, in short, in these 3 years itself, the prices have already gone up from 1,300 PSF to 1,700 PSF. That's at least $400 PSF in 3 years. So in simple terms, if you are buying a 3-bedroom of 1,000 square feet itself, how much have you profited from Copen Grand all the way to currently in this Novo Place? what you have actually lost is the opportunity cost, because while you're waiting for the price to maybe drop, or you say, oh, let me just try for the next one, let me wait for the next one to see if I have better luck. While you're waiting over these 3 years, the prices have already increased 400,000 because there are a lot of buyers saying, let's wait, we see how it goes, let me save more money. I think maybe I can wait for next year, I see what I want to do, I want to sell. What I want to share with you here, the prices will continue to increase for EC, and that's why it's very important for you to understand why this Otto Place EC is priced at this price. Understand, are you going ahead with this EC, because this could be your last window of opportunity over here. So EC supply is very low in the market. Here we have the news about Novo Place, which is right beside Otto Place EC. It sold as much as 88.1% and 57% on the launch day. It sold as much as 88% on the second balloting when the second timers could enter. Means that it is a very good demand in the market currently. There's more than 80% demand, even though there's so many new launches of EC in the west side, and now we're actually on the last one. Currently, we also have very limited supply of new executive condos in Singapore, and we're only down to last how many units? We only have 8 units left at the point of filming. So if you are lucky enough, these 8 units might still be ready when you actually contact me. Otherwise, we are only left with last 8 units of ECs that are available in today's market. So where are all these ECs? Now, right now, out of these 8 units, right, we have 1 unit that is a 3-bedroom at Novo Place EC, 3 units of 3-bedroom at Lumina Grand EC, 3 units of 5-bedroom, which means 5 proper bedroom in Lumina Grand EC, and also 1 3-bedroom in the North Gaya EC. And this North Gaya EC is actually a bounce out unit. If you are looking for something that you can collect keys immediately, North Gaya EC will be something interesting for you to explore, because North Gaya EC, they are actually collecting keys in June or July. You can immediately collect your keys and move it immediately. So if you say that I think I still want to wait after Otto Place EC, what you need to think here is that while you wait for another EC, which is the next Senja EC in 2027 or end 2026, this will be another 2 years. So if we explain accordingly to what the statistics have been showing us, how much price do you think the EC will increase by then in 2 years? This one you can calculate according to yourself. Is it 100,000, 150,000 or 200,000? We also see that there's not enough supply in Tampines in the east side of Singapore. So Aura of Tampines EC, it was 100% sold, with 90% sold on the first day of the launch and fully sold within 1 hour of booking at Aura of Tampines EC. I was there at the Aura of Tampines and it was honestly very crowded. The atmosphere is very intense. You have seen a snake pool of people queuing around here just to ballot and also get like a unit. You really need to understand what you're going for in the EC and which one you want to prioritize, because when you're here in the queue, right, you do not have time to think. You see so many people in front of you, maybe 100 or 200 people. You're thinking, oh, will I actually get the chance to buy? So it's very important for you to finish this whole entire video if you're going to Otto Place EC, because you want to understand which is the best unit that you should choose, and you know how to shortlist your unit at the end of the day. And if you'd like to see the show flat, feel free to contact me via my social media so that I can show you at the show flat for the Otto Place EC, so that you will be more assured about which are your choices when you actually go to the Otto Place EC. I do have a lot of clients that went for Aura of Tampines EC and they say maybe I'll wait for the next one. Unfortunately, for those that are actually waiting for the next Tampines EC, right, it's estimated to be in 2026, and that will be around in 1 year time. I'm not sure how much the price will actually go up to. If you know the answer or you want to make a guess, feel free to comment down below. So these are the future ECs that will be launching soon, and these are the past EC GLS sites that have been sold. So over here we have the Otto Place EC right next to the Novo Place EC. Novo Place EC was actually launched last year in November 2024, and this year, July, we will be actually launching the Otto Place EC very soon. The land cost itself is slightly cheaper, and the MRT walk to the Otto Place EC is actually 4 minutes. But what I want to also share with you here is that, do you notice that the price have been increasing for the Jalan Loyang Besar EC and also the Tampines Street 95 EC? This actually goes with the sharing that we agents have been sharing. The land bid price have been increasing because there is a very short supply of land in Singapore for executive condos only. And also, we can notice that the walk to the MRT station from the Otto Place EC is also increasing. Usually, the EC's executive condos are very far from the MRT because it is priced cheaper than private condominium, and the government actually gives the developers a discount. That's why it's much more further away. So if you are waiting beyond Novo and Otto Place and whatever ECs that are left in the market, these are the walking distance that you have, and likelihood you will actually be at a higher price as compared to this current Otto Place EC. So what I want to share with you now is all the project information about Otto Place EC only, starting from the site plan, the map analysis, and also the layout and also the price. So let's start. So who are the developers of the Otto Place EC? It's actually the Hoi Hak and Sunway developer, and generally there will be a total of 600 units in the Otto Place EC for 3-bedroom, 3+ study and 4+ study layouts itself. Total there will be 8 blocks of 15 stories, 16 story and also 20 stories in this Otto Place EC itself, and the car park lots is actually very generous as compared to the earlier plots. There is a total of 71% car park lots. So this includes the standard car park lots, the EV car park lots and also the other accessible car park lots. Right now, a TOP date is estimated to be in 2028 Q1. So this is when new MRT station for the Jurong Regional Line actually starts opening. So there'll be more MRT stations and amenities in Tengah. So you need not worry about that, because when you meet this TOP date for this Otto Place EC, you'll be very convenient by then. So where is this Otto Place EC? It's actually located here, where you can see. So Otto Place EC is here, right next to the Novo Place EC. So on the URA map here, you can also see that this is the Otto Place EC, and the MRT is actually over here. It's around 4 minutes walk to either side of the MRT station. What I like about this Otto Place EC is that there is a hidden gem over here, and this is the yellow color zone in URA, which means that this is a reserve plot. So what is reserve plot usually meant for? It could be a mixed development, like a mixture of residential with malls, with also maybe like offices, bus interchange and MRT. We do not know yet, but yellow color is definitely a special color, and this is something to look out for, because next time right opposite of you there will be more amenities that is coming out. So this location is really very convenient because of all these amenities around here itself. And in terms of school itself, we're actually 1 kilometer away from the Princess Elizabeth School over here. And we are also 1 km away from the Jurong Primary School and Yuhua Primary School. And we are also 1 km away from the Dulwich College. So there's quite a lot of schools that are around this area in the Otto Place EC. You need not worry too much about schools in terms of the available schools that is nearby Otto Place EC. And one additional thing to think note, we're actually 1 to 2 kilometers away from the ACS Buggers. So there will be a ACS Buggers Tengah that will be coming up around here in this location, and we're around 1 to 2 kilometers away from it. So as discussed, the 2 MRT stations that will be between the Otto Place EC will be the Tengah Plantation and Tengah Park MRT station. So this is the whole entire Jurong Regional Line in this map itself, and the targeted date for this MRT station to be open is around 2028. That's also when you collect the keys. That's why you'll be very convenient. It's really very rare for you to have an EC that is right next to the MRT. For example, for myself, I bought North Gaya EC, and also for North Gaya EC, it's so far away from the Yishun MRT that the developer need to give a free 2-year shuttle bus. Otherwise, the sale was really very bad for the first 3 years of the sale, and that's when you know really it's very hard to find an EC that is right next to the MRT. As I shared with you earlier, the next EC that will be in the Senja Close EC, right in the west side, that will be 19 minutes away from all the MRTs itself. So if you are looking for EC that is really very convenient and close, you should definitely give this EC a look. Go to the show flat and take a look at this EC before you decide whether you want to go ahead with this EC itself. So over here, I have 2 ECs. The left side is actually the Novo Place EC, and the right side is the Otto Place EC. So where we are looking at for today is the Otto Place EC, and these 2 ECs are side by side. So you might want to reorientate these maps itself so that you can understand what is around these areas. So on the left side is going towards the Tengah Park MRT, and also for the right side is going towards the Bukit Batok West MRT itself. So the PRE will actually be on this side. So if you want to avoid any PRE or noises, or you're afraid from it, even though there is a distance of park away, then these are some units that you can actually keep a lookout for it. And if you need the latest Otto Place information, just drop me a message, Otto Place, and I'll actually share with you this map itself along with the site plans to you. Generally, this whole Otto Place EC is actually north-south facing, north being this side and south being this side. And there's actually 2 stacks that are east facing over here itself, which I will share with you more later. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the north facing and this is the south facing. There will be a side gate over here itself. So this is the side gate, and there will also be a link way of a shuttle all the way to the bus stop over here. This is where you have the MRT, and this is the PRE which I mentioned earlier. So when I look at this map itself, my preference for choices in terms of the unit selection later on will be to go further away from the PRE. So my top preference will be from the Block 20 itself. Actually, Block 20 is quite interesting because you will have quite a good distance over here if you're these two units facing the north sides itself. Then my next few selections will actually be the pool facing, then the PRE facing over here. So what are the amenities at the Otto Place EC? There is a sky garden over here, if you remember in the picture earlier, at 16 story and 17 story. So it's a high ceiling, 16 and 17 story. So this will be the Block 22 and Block 24 where you can access to the sky garden directly. In total, there are 5 barbecue pits that are around different areas and also 2 clubhouses and a multi-purpose court where you can play tennis or basketball itself. And here are the other indoor facilities and amenities that are available in Otto Place itself. So for Otto Place itself, the distance might be important to you because over here you're facing the Novo Place EC. So for the Novo Place EC itself, right, the distance is from 36 meters to 42 meters. And for this area, it's actually facing the PRE. The PRE also have a very good distance of 55 meter to 150 meter itself, and over here you actually be the MRT itself. So these are the distance that you might want to take note of. You can actually screenshot and pause if you are very particular in terms of what you can see from your house. So for the buyers that are buying the Otto Place EC, usually these buyers are buying for own stay. So they're looking to stay in the EC for at least 5 years because there's 5 years MOP, and that's why in terms of the facing that I want to prioritize here, I'll definitely select either the Block 20 or those pool facing units first. Then I'll prioritize the ones that are facing outside towards the PRE itself. In terms of the specific layouts for the 3-bedroom or the 4-bedroom plus study, I'll share with you later on so you can know which one you want to prioritize for your balloting day. So what's interesting here is that the rest of the buildings are actually until 20th level, and for the Block 20 is until level 15, and for the Block 34 is until level 16. This gives it a very nice architect from the outside as you've seen earlier, and in this picture you can actually see all the different stacks where all the 3-bedroom, 3 plus study and 4 plus study are actually located. So look at the colors to know which are the areas and views that you can prioritize for your balloting. So for the 4-bedroom, it's actually the pink color and also the orange color. So the light pink color and orange color are generally the better facing ones because you notice they're actually around the pool area. So these are the better and more popular stacks that will be sold out on the first date. So this is how the units will actually be distributed accordingly to the stacks and also the level number itself. So you can look at this distribution chart to know how are the layouts and unit types being distributed across this Otto Place EC. So how should you choose a Otto Place 3-bedroom if you are looking at 3-bedroom only for the Otto Place EC? So in the Otto Place EC, there's a 3-bedroom deluxe, there is a 3-bedroom deluxe plus study, and there's also 3-bedroom luxury plus study. And these 3 layouts are very similar to each other. So we need to analyze how are these layouts different so that you can choose the right unit and know which one to prioritize. So the first layout we have over here is C1. So for the type C1, the square feet of this C1 is 872 square feet. So before I analyze the layouts, I would like to also share with you. So in this whole Otto Place EC, all the kitchen and toilets are naturally ventilated. So what you'll notice here is that there will be windows for all the different layouts. So you need not worry about ventilation in Otto Place EC. And also all the blocks in this Otto Place EC is a point block of 4 units. This means that you have lesser neighbors per floor, and it's also better for you because you have more privacy for the Otto Place EC. Another good thing is that for Otto Place EC, the walls are hackable. So for those that are in white, you can see which one is hackable. If you like a bigger bedroom or a bigger living room, feel free to hack the walls that are in white. For the ones that are in grey, you cannot hack it. And the square feet and size for all these layouts are actually harmonized. If you are curious about the non-harmonized size, look at the words in red color. I've actually included it in the bottom of each picture. So for example, in this case, 6 square meter is actually the aircon ledge. So this aircon ledge over here is 6 square meter itself. So if we are using pre-harmonization, the actual square feet size of this 3-bedroom is 936 square feet, which is actually very similar to the older ECs before harmonization. Because if you compare after harmonization and before harmonization, the size is actually the same, but on paper right now it will be 872 square feet itself. So the type C1 over here is actually the smallest 3-bedroom layout in the whole entire Otto Place. Being the layout of the smallest 3-bedroom Otto Place EC size, generally all of the units are actually outer facing over here. So they are either facing the Novo Place EC or they are facing the PIE. And generally I would feel that stack 2 have the best stack over here because it's the furthest away with the view from the Novo Place EC, and you can have a clearer view as compared to the other units. You might want to take note of stack 28 and 32 because this is closer to the PIE. So as I mentioned earlier, the pros of this whole entire layout is that it's actually very efficient. You can use all the bedrooms and their proper layout, whereby you can put a queen size bed for the common room and king size bed for the master bedroom. The walls are also hackable between the rooms, giving you the flexibility. But what I don't like about this layout is that there is no extra WC, which means you don't have extra toilet. There's only a total of 2 toilets in this smaller size unit, and the yard is actually very small. So this is actually the yard size of the whole entire area, and honestly it's very small because imagine you need to open the door sideways for your bomb shelter. So if you open and close the door every day, right, it's a bit inefficient to use this yard when you want to go inside the bomb shelter to collect something and then you come out to cook or you come out to hang your clothes. So this yard is a bit too small for my liking. Next we have here is a C2 layout. The total size is 904 square feet. So for this layout, there's both outer and inner facing. So you're either facing the Novo Place EC or you're either facing the pool or the PIE itself. So in terms of the better facing, definitely the stack 2 will be a better facing, or you can also choose the stack 29. And the stack 23 will be the one that is closer to the PIE itself. So this layout is very regular. You have the normal 2 common bedroom and 1 master bedroom. You have the living dining over here. So this is a regular efficient layout, and the walls are actually hackable. So what I like about this C2 layout as compared to the C1 layout is that you have an extra WC over here, and also you have a smaller study over here. The only cons is that this study is a bit too small because you can only put a table and it's only for 1 person to sit over here. You can't do an extra cabinet space beside the study itself or use it enclosed to make another room. This is the Type C3 3-bedroom deluxe plus study. Total square feet size is 936 square feet. This is the layout that I actually like the most in the whole entire Otto Place EC because the whole entire layout is very regular and the size is very rectangular. So one unique thing about this whole layout is that the balcony over here can actually be accessed by the kitchen itself over here or by the living room. And I feel that this is very efficient because if there is a water point over here or there is a water point that you can pull out to the balcony, you can potentially do your clothes around here and you'll be very efficient when you want to hang your clothes and do your laundry. And one more thing, over here, can you see that this is actually a glass between the kitchen and the living room instead of a wall? So this whole entire 3-bedroom layouts in the Otto Place, only this 3-bedroom plus study have this wall over here, so it feels so much more brighter when you actually enter the house, whether you stand at here or you stand at here, because you can see what's going outside the living room, and also that you can potentially enclose the whole entire balcony, and this whole area can actually be used for you to have a family gathering over here. So this is what I really like about the 3-bedroom deluxe plus study, which is the C3 layout. And one more thing to note, this is the only layout whereby you can have a east facing. So these 2 layouts are east facing. It's actually very good because east facing in Singapore is actually the morning sun. So when morning the sun comes out, it's not too warm because it's not the afternoon sun itself. The only cons for this layout is that same thing, the study is very small in my opinion over here, and I'm not sure why the yard is spaced over here. Maybe what they're suggesting is that since this is like a WC, like a toilet for the guest itself, so generally you can do your washing of clothes over here, you can have your washer dryer here, but if you want to do natural air ventilation of washing your clothes, then you can just dry your clothes in the balcony lah. You need not use this washer area. You need not use this area to do your washing itself. Or maybe if you need additional cabinet space and you don't need your WC, what you can potentially do is just to cover up and do more storages over here itself. That's another option because this is almost the same size as a bomb shelter, and yeah, you can have more space to put your stuff for this whole entire layout. That's why I really like this layout out of all the 5 layouts in the 3-bedroom in Otto Place itself. Last but not least, our last two layout is actually the C4 and the C5S. C4 is 947 square feet and C5S is 958 square feet. So the show flat for the Otto Place EC is actually C5. So what you will be seeing is actually this show flat when you actually come with me to the Otto Place show flat. If you are someone who prefer a bigger study, what I like is that this study here, they do not have a wall done up yet. So you can have a flexibility whether you want to have a study, and at the same time you can have a flexibility to have a bigger master bedroom. And this is very rare because usually master bedroom, some people will say that my master bedroom is very tight if I move from a HDB to a EC or a private condo. Right now, because they do not have a wall done up yet, so your whole entire master bedroom for this C4 and C5 layout is actually very huge and is something very suitable for staying. The only cons or thing I do not like about this layout is that I feel that for a proper 3-bedroom plus study, if you have kids, this kitchen might be not enough. However, if you are someone who do not cook regularly, then this kitchen is more than enough. Also, something unique about this EC is that they are putting the refrigerators outside of the kitchen. I'm guessing that the developer is very up to trend. It knows that, modern days with modern parents, maybe we are not cooking as much, and it's much more convenient for the refrigerator to be outside instead of inside the kitchen. This keeps the kitchen neat because most of the food or like the drinks, if you are coming out of your bedroom or the living room, you can actually take from the refrigerator immediately. So for this Otto Place EC layout, interestingly, the fridge is outside, same to just now layout. The washer was also outside of the main kitchen itself. It's something interesting that this developer have come up with. So where are these C4 and C5 located? C4 is generally facing inside the pool itself, so they have a better facing, and this will actually be much more popular. And for C5 layout, either you are facing the Novo Place or you are facing the PIE itself. So for my preferred stacks for C4 is actually everything because pool facing is much more better. And for the C5 layout, my preference will definitely be stack 10, which is facing the Novo Place EC. So how will the price be like for the Otto Place EC? So there will be price prediction for the smallest 3-bedroom deluxe layout and also the largest 3-bedroom luxury plus study layout. So for the smallest C1 layout of size 872 square feet, if the price was to start from 1,700 PSF, the 1-bedroom will be starting from $1.482 million up to the highest floor of $1.51 million, and that's for the normal payment scheme MPS. If you are looking for deferred payment scheme, which means you have higher loan in front or you have lower down payment at the start of the balloting, then the price will be slightly higher at $1.56 to $1.55 million for the DPS payment scheme. If you are confused about what is MPS and what is DPS, later I'll be explaining, or if you are still confused, feel free to contact me so that I can explain further with you how to choose which one you want to go, whether is it MPS or DPS. So this is a price prediction for 3-bedroom luxury plus study, the C5 958 square feet. So if the price is starting from 1,700, the MPS normal payment scheme price will start from $1.628 million up to $1.659 million. You can see that the price per level jump might not be very high. So if you're selecting your unit, I'll definitely prioritize the higher floor first or the mid floor or something above 6 stories so that when I want to exit in the future, it will be easier for me to exit 5 years later after MOP. And for the deferred payment scheme, the price will be from $1.67 million until $1.7 million. So out of all the 3 bedrooms, because there are 5 layouts in Otto Place EC, which one should you choose? I've gone through the different layouts between 3-bedroom deluxe, 3-bedroom deluxe plus study and 3-bedroom luxury plus study. My favorite, as I mentioned, is actually the C3, followed by the C4 layout and the C5 layout, then the C1 and C2. Definitely my advice is go for the larger bedroom type because a lot of buyers buying to Otto Place EC are looking for staying and comfort is really important for them. And because the price per level jump for each level is very low, if you are lucky enough, choose the higher floor level first, then you choose the lower floor ones. So the best stack and best choice that I will choose if I'm choosing Otto Place EC is actually the C3 because it's morning sun, a very bright kitchen with a huge balcony rectangular layout, and also this is actually one of the most rare layout because for C3 itself, there are only 2 stacks with a total of 35 units available for sale, whereas for the others, as around 88 stacks or even more, so this will be the much more rare and popular layout even when you exit Otto Place itself. So your considerations when you're choosing between C1, C2, C3, C4 or C5 is whether you need a WC and whether you need a study. For the deluxe layouts, their study are smaller, and for the luxury one, the study is bigger. And also, are you okay to face a PIE or being nearer to the MRT if there is very limited units when you actually reach your ballot and turn? So next, we are moving on to the 4-bedroom analysis. So how should you choose your 4-bedroom if you are looking at 4-bedroom in the Otto Place? So what we have here is the 4-bedroom study, and there are two layouts, D1 and D2. So for D1 itself, we have 1012 square feet, and D2 itself, we actually have 1195 square feet. So the difference in terms of the size for these two layouts is actually very huge, around 200 square feet itself after you add in the aircon ledge. So where are the difference between these two D1 and D2 layout? The difference firstly is the study. So for this side, the study is a proper bigger study whereby you can actually use it, whereas for the left side, the study is very small, likely only one person can sit inside. So if you need a bigger study where you have more kids who want to study together, then the one on the right side, D2 layout, might be something that's more suitable for you. And one thing I really love about this D2 layout is that we have a wardrobe that is much more bigger itself. So when you compare these two layouts, D2 and D1, if you are someone who really loves comfort and having your own walk-in wardrobe, D2 is something more suitable for you. And also, if you are planning to stay with your parents, maybe you might want to upgrade to having a junior master bedroom, because for the D2 layout, there is a junior master bedroom over here. So this means that there's a total of 2 toilets for all the different common rooms over here, whereas for here in D1 layout itself, there's only one extra common room to share between all the 3 bedrooms itself. Of course, we have the WC, but sometimes when you're using it for own stay, you rather use a proper bigger common toilet as compared to a WC. So for homestay itself, the D2 layout will be much more comfortable whether you're staying alone or with like your parents. So if you are someone looking for staying long term, maybe 10 years, or you're someone who really loves like a bigger and spacious layout, D2 is definitely the way to go. So where are the layouts for D1 and D2? D1 is over here, so you have some that are facing inside and some are also facing outside, whether is it the PIE or the Otto Place EC. Whereas for the better layout of D2, most of them are facing the pool facing. So for those that are choosing the inner facing ones in D2 layout, my preference first will be the stacks 7, 11 and 15. And for the D1 itself, my preference first for the preferred stacks are the ones that are closer on the top left, then the ones that are in the pool, and furthered by the ones that are facing the PIE station. So these are my preferred stacks. As mentioned, the cons of D1 layout is that they do not have a junior master option, and also the study is much more smaller. Whereas for the D2 layout, there's actually a much more flexible study plus living, and also the junior master with toilet is much more spacious, suitable for living, and also you have a walk-in wardrobe for you to actually put more clothes inside the master bedroom itself. The cons for these two layouts is that I feel that the kitchen might be too small for a family that's staying in a 4-bedroom plus study, because imagine you're staying with your parents and also your kids. You might want to cook, but this kitchen might be a bit too small for staying, but the room size for the Otto Place is fantastic. So what's the size like for the 4-bedroom deluxe plus study? For D1 itself, if the price is from $1,007 onwards, the level 1 will be from $1.72 million all the way up to $1.75 million. So if your budget is below $1.8 million, D1 layout is something more suitable for you because it's more practical and in the layout are more efficient. However, if you are looking at something that is much more comfortable and spacious in terms of size, you can go for D2 layout. But D2 layout, because you're having a bigger master, bigger study and living dining room, and you're also having a walk-in wardrobe, the price will be different. So it will be from $2 million onwards. So for 1,700 PSF starting from 1195 square feet, D2 will likely have a price from $2.3 million onwards up to $2.07 million. And if you're looking for deferred payment scheme, the price will be from $2.09 million all the way up to $2.13 million. So depending on your budget, are you comfortable to stretch it all the way to $2 million or $2.1 million? Then you want to decide, should you go for a bigger 4-bedroom plus study or a smaller 4-bedroom plus study? So in summary, for the 4-bedroom, there are only 2 types of layout. So the 4-bedroom deluxe plus study or the 4-bedroom luxury plus study, so it's the D1 or D2 layout, definitely my preferred layout will be D2 than the D1 because it's much more comfortable. And also the facing for D2, there are much more that are at better locations facing the pool itself. If you are looking at which floor to go for the higher floors one, because then again the EC developers are not pricing a huge price difference between each level itself, so go for the higher floor ones, then the mid floor and above level 6. So your considerations is whether you need a bigger study, a bigger junior master, and also like a bigger walk-in wardrobe. And depending on this, your layout might differ if you're buying the deluxe one or the luxury 4+ study. If you need more information, then again feel free to join my new Telegram group. It's still new launch updates, and I will send all the information that I have about the Otto Place EC into the Telegram group chat. Okay, so here's the summary about the Otto Place EC. If you're thinking about I want to go into Otto Place EC and I don't know which 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom layout to pick out, the best is actually over here. So to summarize, the best 3-bedroom layout in the whole entire Otto Place EC is actually the Type C3. So it's the 3-bedroom deluxe plus study with only 35 units to choose from, and it's very rare. And for the 4-bedroom itself, the best layout is actually D2, the 4-bedroom luxury plus study with 88 units to choose from. Roughly the price will be starting from 1,700, and the whole price will actually differ according to the lower floor and higher floor, but the marginal between each story is actually very minimum. So if you can choose a higher floor unit because you have a better view, you're buying for staying, and also if you want to exit, likelihood you are able to exit at a better price because the price in terms of per level floor jump right now over here is actually very small. Why you should really consider the Otto Place EC and also go to the show flat with me is because there's a lot of advantages for the Otto Place EC. Firstly, it's 4 minutes walk away from the Bukit Batok West MRT and Tengah Park MRT. This is the latest Jurong regional line, and it will actually be very convenient because by the time you collect keys of this Otto Place EC, the MRT is already built up already. And also for Otto Place EC, there's much more benefits, such as you do not need to pay ABSD if you currently have a HDB, or if you are someone who's young and you're also saving money, you can choose to have the deferred payment scheme, and you can potentially get a housing grant if you're eligible for it. Furthermore, there's also investment opportunity over here because in the whole Tengah area, it's still currently developing. The whole Tengah map is very big, and right now it's only the Tengah Park MRT and Bukit Batok West MRT that is actually developing and selling the EC. So Tengah is very similar to the Punggol, so we also call it like the Punggol of the West because we've seen how much the prices have increased for Punggol, and it becomes more popular because there are a lot of young people staying there, and there are a lot of amenities that's in terms of like the malls, the bus stops itself, interchange. So if you're looking for something which have a very good bargain in terms of the value and something that is much more spacious and you can buy a very good price itself, Otto Place is something that you should really consider. But what you should also consider is that if you miss the Otto Place itself, what is the next plot that is coming out? Because I mentioned for you, the next one is the Senja Close, which will likely be launched in 2027 or end 2026. And the kitchen and study in some of the layouts in Otto Place EC is very small. So while the bedroom size are very comfortable, kitchen is something that you might want to compromise. And we are thinking about the layouts, the facing itself. You might want to consider, are you okay if the units at the point of selection is only left with the PRE or the MRT, or being closer to the PRE or the MRT stations, because there might be some noise from the distance itself. But right now the distance is still very healthy because there is a park that is between the Otto Place to the PRE and also before the MRT tracks itself, so it's still considered quiet. It's just when you're choosing the units, which one do you want to prioritize? If you need any updates about the Otto Place, just follow my Telegram, or if you want me to advise you more in terms of like what documents should you prepare, just drop me a DM, write Otto Place, and I'll actually contact you. So these are the tips for Otto Place if you are looking to buy Otto Place today and you're thinking, should I go ahead for it? Number one is you should get your IPA ready. So because the loan for the EC is actually MSR, mortgage servicing ratio, you might need bridging loan at the end of the day, and you need to think, do I go for deferred or normal payment scheme? Do I have enough cash with me to continue for this Otto Place balloting at the point of time? Work out your budget so that you know between all the different layouts like C1 to C5, which one should you want to choose, because you want to buy something that is comfortable within your budget itself. And knowing your budget actually is much more easier because it helps you to shortlist your units in advance, and you do not feel as anxious when you're in the queue waiting for your Otto Place balloting itself. And if the Otto Place EC is also very well demand and is sold out before then, you might want to have some backup plan, because like the Aura of Tampines EC, it was actually sold 100% on the 2nd plan launched when all the second timers could enter and not everyone can get a unit. So having a backup plan is important, whether you should go for Resale EC or other new launches or other new ECs that's coming up in this year. And it's important you need to act now, because while you are thinking should I wait for the next EC, I've already shared with you based on the land bid price, based on all the transactions, while you're waiting each year for the next EC, the price has actually gone up. And if your budget is fixed to a certain amount, it means that number one, you have a smaller unit, or number two, you might be priced out and you are not eligible to buy a EC next time. You need to consider Resale EC already. So act sooner, and this might be your last window opportunity. And also for those that are having a HDB right now, your HDB price might be at its peak right now. So before the market softens, you might want to make a decision, because if you're taking bridging loan itself, bridging loan depends on the valuation of your HDB and it brings you more loans so that you can get an EC. So this is very important. And last but not least, if you're considering whether you want to upgrade to condo or executive condo, you really must do it when you're young eligible. So for EC right now, the income ceiling is 16k, which means for two person, both you and your spouse, or like two single person, when you combine the salary, it cannot be more than 16k. If you are close to 16k, or you are thinking like I might exceed my 16k with my bonus, you are unsure, drop me a text or just write Otto Place EC so that I can help you to assess whether you're eligible for the Otto Place EC. Last but not least, remember to follow my Telegram to earn new launch updates, because I'll be sharing the more updated information inside, and these are the important dates that you need to note of. So for previews and e-application, which means we fill out form to indicate our interest for the EC, is from 4 to 15 June. For 16 to 17 June, there will be a price review in terms of the specific unit that you're looking at, how much is the price. And for balloting day, it actually starts on the 18th, where you know what is your queue number, and for booking day, it's on 19 July, whereby you actually get the chance to choose the unit if you're lucky and you have a very good number. So these are the things that is very important. Take note of the dates and the documents that you need to prepare, and I will see you there at Otto Place EC. So I'm Jia En. If you have any question about the Otto Place EC, feel free to drop me a text Otto Place EC, and I'll actually answer your inquiries and also get back to you. So see you next week with my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.